I'll talk back about
Okay.
it.
I'm just looking at the thing. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't really know much about Aunt Rosal.
Rosal, when she was 11 years old, was a freshman at high school.
Uh-huh.
And,
At 11?
yeah. And when she got to, she wanted to become a nun, and Mom and Dad were sort of opposed to the idea at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so Rosal got communicating with Father Leo Doyle. Father Leo Doyle, a Jesuit missionary on the basin side in Wyoming.
Mm-hmm.
And so they moved back and forth, and then they both agreed to allow our Sunday Visitor to publish it. So they were in our Sunday Visitor.
Oh, their writings?
Yeah, the letters, back and forth.
Do you have those?
No. And I don't know if we could find them now, I guess.
So that same place, the Our Sunday Visitor,
Yeah,
was
yeah.
published then too,
Yeah,
huh?
mhm.
Okay.
So anyway, when she got out of high school, she worked in the office at the high school, doing typing and
Yeah.
different stuff. When 21, she joined the order. That was 1932,
Oh, wow.
and she worked. I think she taught maybe 2 or 3 years at grade school areas, and then she taught in high schools of the order.
Uh-huh.
And she had her degree in German, and a master's degree in German,
Uh-huh.
and she taught history at the college level,
Uh-huh.
and of course she taught Mariology and religious courses.
Uh-huh.
One period in St. Mary's, Kansas, the populations of the city, 95% Catholic. So they had a public high school, and in that public high school they had a lay principal and a religious principal. So Rosal was co-principal of that high school for a while.
How did they get away with that? They didn't.
It was a public high school, but what are you gonna, but that worked pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And she did a lot of work. Like she had assignments in administration in hospitals and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the early 1960s,
Mm-hmm.
they sent her to Notre Dame to get her a PhD in theology. They wanted an order theologian.
Okay.
And so she got her degree. I remember we went out at that time, out in the summertime,
Uh-huh.
and thing that I remember, Christine loved the statues of the Blessed Virgin.
Uh-huh.
And we went there, and she saw, there's my Mary. Anyway, when she got her degree, then they have a year of postdoctorate studies,
Uh-huh.
and so she chose the University of Munich, Germany,
Oh.
and she chose her steerage going over her passage on the boat.
Uh-huh.
She just selected a German transport,
Uh-huh.
so she was the only English-speaking person on it, I guess. And when she got over to Hamburg, well, she was met by, I forget the name of the German, at St. Mary's in Leavenworth.
Uh-huh.
Across the street from their campus was a state facility which was used as a POW camp. So they had a lot of German prisoners of war,
Uh-huh.
and the nuns from St. Mary's helped
POWs.
write letters
Okay.
and help them out with things like that.
Uh-huh.
Well, she became good friends with this one guy,
Uh-huh.
Well, when he got over there, she was met by him and his wife and 3 kids.
Aw.
And she spent a week with them
Uh-huh.
and went on to Munich. And when the year came to the end, as a graduation situation, they took a trip to the Holy Land, the whole class.
Okay.
And they were told when they go, now, you do not talk about anything about going to Israel. If people want to know where you're going to Jordan.
Okay.
He says, because there are spies on these trains, and if you find out you're going to Israel, you're going to have trouble. So they took the Oriental Express
Uh-huh.
and went over that way, and all the way down into Jordan.
Uh-huh.
And then from Jordan they crossed over into Israel, and then they left from a port in Israel going back to Germany.
Uh-huh.
And 3 days after they left, the 7-Day War broke out in
Oh. Wow, she's lucky that she got out when she
Yeah.
did. Or not that, you're just getting out, but that she wasn't there to...
I've got a write-up of that trip.
I have
I
it.
think you got
I
it.
have a copy of it.
But I made a mistake when I was making a copy. Instead of making eight or nine that I was going to make, I think I got 20 or 25.
Oh.
So I got an extra copy.
Well, did you give any of them maybe to
Yeah,
Tom and Kathy, and you could, like some of the other Riedels might.
Oh, that's a good idea. I'll keep that in mind, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
What was I thinking about? Now, Aunt Rosal, did she go someplace where some of our relatives would have been from, originally, the Gares or anything?
No, I don't think she got travel around Germany, you mean?
Yeah.
No. Because, well, of course, Munich, that's where Dad was born.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know what she did. She didn't write anything about it. She did.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is...
And of course, she had, health-wise, she had back problems. They had some disc fusion.
Okay.
She had diabetes. She lost 1 or 2 fingers due to diabetes.
Oh.
Diabetes eventually
Is what?
It took a toll on her.
Yeah.
And then she got Parkinson's.
Oh.
And that's what she died from, was
I didn't-
complications of Parkinson's.
I didn't know that. I knew she had diabetes and that she had a hard time. She had an electric typewriter or something, and
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
she couldn't use her hands very well.
Yeah. I think one of the Kuzma kids gave her a typewriter.
Okay.
I think Barbra.
Okay.
That you don't know much about you know much about
The Kuzmas?
the Kuzmas?
Not really, because that's.
Okay, well, see, when Marion graduated from St. Mary's, she came out to Akron. She lived with us a couple of years and worked Firestone in the public relations
Oh, okay.
in Firestone. But she had all sorts of trouble with allergies,
Okay.
and so she decided she'd go back out to Wyoming. She got out there. She met John Kuzma. John was, I think there were about 6 or 7 Kuzmas, but she married him. John was a graduate of Creighton in pharmacy,
Oh.
and he was a representative going around, you know how they go around as a doctor.
Yeah.
He had covered most of Montana,
Okay.
and sometime in the wintertime it was nice.
Not so easy.
Yeah. But in Marion's family, the oldest is Judy. You know Judy.
Right.
Okay. And the next one is Barbra. There's a difference day and night.
Okay.
Barbra worked for a pharmaceutical health clinic, you know, and medical analyses and stuff of that nature.
Okay.
And she, her husband died quite young,
Mm-hmm.
and she had the one, Sarah.
Uh-huh.
She's pretty active in their choirs and so forth. In fact, I think the choir from where she is went over to Europe and so forth.
Uh-huh.
She was the only one of them that were interested in what happened to me in World War II.
Oh.
She got the books and so forth.
Oh, okay.
Actually, she took the ones when Rosal passed away. She got the books from Rosal.
Okay.
But then the next one was Bill.
Uh-huh.
He's the only boy. And Bill, he was selling stocks and bonds for a while and so forth. He had some problems. His wife left him and so forth. He had that problem. Now he runs a candy store out in Billings. I don't know what else. And then they had Ronnie.
Uh-huh.
She's the one that, when after the second.
That's her son in the picture?
After the second one, after Marcus was born, shortly after that, he deserted. And she just remarried.
Uh-huh.
See, the next one is Grace. She lives right near Billings. She has pretty good. In fact, Marion lived with her her last few days, or the last year or so.
Uh-huh.
And then the youngest one is Beth. And I didn't know Beth, but then I saw on the return address in the last card, Marion Beth.
Oh.
I didn't know that her name was Marion. See. Well, she's the one that had problems with obesity.
Oh, okay.
She went through a period where she tried to commit suicide once, I think, or something like that. But she straightened around. She's been teaching math at high school in El Paso, Texas, for forever.
Wow.
She's been there 25 years or so.
Uh-huh.
But I try to keep track of it.
With the Christmas and
Yeah. And
wow.
of course, Judy, she's handles the labor relations for the certain sector of the Pentagon.
Okay. Yeah, that's a big job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know when she was done, they sent her down to Ohio State for some sort of a course, and Ruthie was down there on OT, so she came up with Ruthie a couple weekends.
Okay. So, well, I should get some of these things done here.
And I'll go out and get the dishes done.
Okay.